You could have a heart attack in the next few months, and the warning signs might already be there. But here's the strange part. They might not look like what you expect. They might feel like fatigue that won't go away, or seem as innocent as heartburn after dinner. So, what if your body has been trying to warn you this whole time, and you've been ignoring it? Why do some people drop dead from a heart attack while others catch it in time? And how do seemingly unrelated issues, like gum disease, frequent urination, or snoring, tie directly into the risk of a deadly cardiac event? In the next few minutes, we're going to unravel the clues. Because the truth is, your body may already be waving a giant red flag, and if you don't learn to read it, the price could be everything. Before we dive deep, take a second and hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on life-saving health insights like this one. Let's talk heart to heart. You're probably here because you care about your health, or maybe you're worried about something you've been feeling, a pressure in your chest that wasn't there before, that crushing fatigue that makes your mornings harder than they used to be. Or maybe you're just doing everything right, and still, something feels off. That gut feeling, it's worth listening to, because a heart attack almost never comes out of nowhere. Your body always tries to warn you first. The problem is those warnings are usually quiet, subtle, easy to brush off as stress or poor sleep. But today, I'm going to make sure you won't miss them again. Let's begin with something surprisingly ordinary. Fatigue, but not the type that goes away with a good night's sleep. This is the kind that lingers through the day, through the week. You find yourself too tired to finish your workout. Climbing stairs feels harder than it used to. You don't bounce back the way you did before. This could be a sign your heart isn't pumping blood as efficiently, leaving your muscles and organs gasping for oxygen. Now, pair that with shortness of breath, not just after exercise, but while doing everyday things, like walking the dog, making your bed, even getting dressed. When your heart starts to struggle, your lungs try to compensate. The result? You feel winded, even when you shouldn't. And yet most people dismiss this. They say, "I'm just getting older." But the truth, it's often the heart. Then there's the pain that's easy to misread, chest discomfort that isn't sharp or dramatic. Instead, it's a dull, tight, squeezing pressure, sometimes in the center, sometimes off to the left, or radiating into the arm or jaw. Here's the kicker. For many people, this pressure happens after eating or during emotional stress, not while running a marathon. And yes, it can last minutes and fade away, tricking you into thinking it was indigestion. But if you notice it happening more than once or after exertion, it's time to listen to your heart, literally. But what if the warning sign doesn't even come from your chest? That brings us to the unexpected. Erectile dysfunction. Sounds unrelated, right? But it's one of the earliest signs of poor blood flow, and the arteries in that region are smaller than the coronary arteries, so they clog sooner. ED can show up years before a heart attack and is often the first visible sign of cardiovascular problems in men. Now I want to pause for a moment and ask, have you ever woken up gasping for air or noticed someone you love snoring loudly, followed by long pauses? That could be sleep apnea, and it's not just about poor rest. Sleep apnea dramatically increases your risk of high blood pressure, arrhythmias, and yes, heart attacks. When oxygen levels drop overnight, your body goes into panic mode, releasing stress hormones that damage your arteries over time. It's a silent accelerator of heart disease. And here's a strange one: swollen feet or ankles. A lot of people associate that with standing too long or eating too much salt. But chronic swelling can mean your heart is struggling to circulate blood properly. When the heart weakens, fluid builds up in the lower extremities. If you notice your shoes feel tighter at the end of the day, or your socks leave deep impressions, don't ignore it. Have you been catching more colds or infections lately? Here's something not many people talk about. A compromised heart can weaken your immune system. A poorly functioning heart can't deliver nutrients and immune cells efficiently. Over time, that translates to a system that gets sick more often and heals more slowly. And now, the symptom that fools almost everyone: heartburn. That burning sensation after a heavy meal? Yes, it could be indigestion, or it could be your heart. Cardiac-related chest pain is often mistaken for reflux, especially in women. But here's a quick way to tell the difference. If the discomfort comes after exertion or stress, and not just after eating, you should take it seriously. Speaking of differences between men and women, let's talk about gender. Heart attacks don't always look the same in women. While men often experience classic chest pain, women might have nausea, jaw pain, or unusual fatigue. In fact, many women have their first heart attack without any chest pain at all. That's why so many go undiagnosed until it's too late. And here's where it gets really scary. Studies show that over 50% of men who die from heart attacks never showed any previous symptoms. Not because there weren't signs, but because they didn't recognize them. So now you're probably wondering, what can I do? What if you've felt one of these signs before? Does it mean a heart attack is already brewing? Maybe. But here's the good news. Your heart is incredibly resilient. With the right steps, you can dramatically reduce your risk, even reverse some of the damage. The first step is awareness, like what you're doing right now. Learning to recognize the patterns, listening to the whispers before they become screams. And yes, changing what you eat and how you live can rewrite your future. Let's talk about your food. If your diet is heavy in processed meats, fried foods, excess sugar, and refined carbs, your arteries are likely inflamed. That inflammation causes damage, which your body tries to patch up with cholesterol, and over time, those patches form plaques that can rupture and block an artery. That's a heart attack. But switch to a diet rich in vegetables, nuts, olive oil, fatty fish like salmon, and antioxidant-rich berries, and you start healing from the inside out. Studies from Harvard, the Cleveland Clinic, and the American Heart Association consistently show that Mediterranean-style diets lower heart attack risk significantly. You don't need exotic superfoods or miracle supplements, just real food, consistently. Now, exercise, not extreme workouts, just movement. Walking briskly for 30 minutes a day lowers your heart attack risk by nearly 50%. Even better if you can add strength training twice a week. It's not about being a gym rat. It's about telling your heart, I've got your back. What about stress? Chronic stress is like slow poison for your heart. It raises cortisol, increases blood pressure, and makes you more likely to crave junk food and skip sleep. But here's the twist. Your heart doesn't care how big your problems are. It cares how you respond to them. 10 minutes a day of deep breathing, journaling, or walking in nature can reduce your risk. It's not about eliminating stress. It's about building resilience. Sleep is your secret weapon. Less than 6 hours a night? That alone increases your heart attack risk. Your body repairs itself while you sleep. Skimp on that, and you're forcing your heart to run without maintenance. Make sleep a priority. It's not laziness, it's life insurance. And then there's one of the most powerful tools you'll ever use: your relationships. Strong social bonds reduce your risk of death from heart disease more than quitting smoking. That's not an exaggeration. Human connection reduces stress, improves immune function, and supports better choices. So call your friend, hug your partner, say what needs to be said. And finally, your mindset. People who believe they can improve their health actually do. It's not magic. It's biology. Optimism reduces inflammation. Hope changes hormone levels. Belief activates behavior change. So if you're wondering, can I still turn things around? The answer is yes. Even if you've ignored every sign until now. Even if your numbers are off. Even if your doctor said it's borderline. Your body wants to heal. It's waiting for you to give it the chance. But the window doesn't stay open forever. Don't wait for pain to be your wake-up call. Let knowledge be the spark that saves your life. You solve everything for everyone else. You take care of the house, work, race against time. But what about you? How many times have you put off your health? What starts as a simple symptom can become a chronic problem, but it can also be treated before with the right guidance. There is a simple and powerful way to give your body the care it's asking for, and it's in the pinned comment. Your health can't wait any longer. So let's keep going, because now we shift from awareness to action. And trust me, this part could be the most important thing you hear today. Because even if you've noticed some of those red flags, like chronic fatigue, shortness of breath, or swelling, you still have a powerful opportunity right now to interrupt what could be a fatal trajectory. Let's start with the engine behind it all: inflammation. Most people still think heart attacks are caused purely by high cholesterol. But the truth? It's inflammation that makes cholesterol dangerous. Without inflammation, cholesterol would move through your blood like oil through a pipe, smooth, no blockage. But when inflammation irritates the lining of your arteries, cholesterol starts to stick. It builds, it hardens, and eventually it ruptures. That's what causes a clot to form and block blood flow. That's the heart attack. So, the real enemy? Chronic, low-grade inflammation. What causes that inflammation? Start with sugar. It spikes your blood sugar, which forces your body to release insulin. Too much insulin, too often, creates insulin resistance. And that sets off a domino effect. Weight gain, high blood pressure, arterial damage. Sugar is more than just empty calories. It's a chemical trigger, a metabolic weapon. That's why eliminating or cutting way back on sugar isn't just about your waistline, it's about saving your life. Studies published in the Journal of the American Medical Association show that people who get more than 25% of their calories from added sugars have more than twice the risk of dying from heart disease than those who keep it under 10%. And what's wild is, most people don't even realize how much they're getting. It's hidden in sauces, breads, cereals, even foods labeled as healthy. Now, here's a quick win for you. If you just stop drinking your sugar, that means cutting out sodas, sweetened teas, fruit juices, you're already cutting a massive chunk of daily sugar without even touching your meals. And if you replace those drinks with water, herbal teas, or sparkling water with lemon, you're not just subtracting the bad, you're supporting better hydration, better blood pressure, and improve circulation. Speaking of circulation, let's talk about your blood vessels. They're not just passive tubes. They're living tissue, and they need certain nutrients to function properly. Magnesium, for example, helps your blood vessels relax, lowering your blood pressure naturally. But most people are deficient. Where do you get it? Leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, even dark chocolate, just not the kind loaded with sugar. Another unsung hero? Omega-3 fatty acids. These reduce triglycerides, lower blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and even help prevent plaque from forming in the arteries. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel are top choices. If you're not a fish eater, a high-quality fish oil supplement can be life-changing, but always check with your doctor first. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Did you know your mouth might be telling you the condition of your heart? Gum disease has been strongly linked to cardiovascular disease. Why? Because the same bacteria that infect your gums can enter your bloodstream and trigger inflammation in your blood vessels. If you have bleeding gums, persistent bad breath, or loose teeth, don't just see a dentist. See it as a warning sign that your heart might be at risk too. And what about your bathroom habits? Frequent urination, especially at night, can be a sign of heart problems. When your heart weakens, fluid builds up during the day in your lower body, especially your legs. Then when you lie down to sleep, that fluid returns to your bloodstream, and your kidneys work overtime. That's why you might be waking up 2, 3, even 4 times a night to pee. It seems like a bladder issue, but it might actually be your heart whispering again. Let's zoom in on something else you might be ignoring: your skin. Blue-tinged lips or fingernails, pale or grayish skin tone, or cold extremities, all signs of poor circulation. That means your heart is struggling to push blood where it needs to go. It's subtle, easy to ignore, but it could be one of the clearest signs that something isn't right under the surface. And here's the one that surprises a lot of people: emotional shifts, depression, anxiety, mood swings. There's mounting evidence that your mental state and your cardiovascular health are deeply connected. Inflammation doesn't just impact your heart, it affects your brain. And people with undiagnosed heart conditions often experience depression before they even notice any physical symptoms. So if you've been feeling off emotionally, pay attention. It's not just in your head, it could be in your heart. Now you might be asking, what about tests? Isn't that what doctors are for? And yes, regular checkups are critical. But here's the harsh truth: many standard screenings won't catch early warning signs. Your cholesterol might be normal. Your blood pressure might be okay at the doctor's office. But inside your arteries, inflammation could still be raging. That's why you need to look deeper. Ask your doctor about advanced tests like high-sensitivity CRP, which measures inflammation, or an A1C test to check your blood sugar trends over months. A coronary calcium scan can show if there's plaque building up in your arteries, even if you feel totally fine, because fine isn't a guarantee. Let's say you're ready to take this seriously. What should your next few days look like? Start with the basics. Make sleep non-negotiable. Go to bed earlier. Wake up at the same time. Dim the lights at night and get sunlight in the morning. Reset your circadian rhythm. It directly influences your blood pressure and hormone levels. Then, move. Not all at once, not to exhaustion, just consistently. A 20-minute walk after dinner not only lowers blood sugar, it improves digestion, reduces stress, and helps you sleep. And you don't have to hit the gym. Gardening, biking, dancing in your kitchen, it all counts. Movement is medicine. Now let's clean the plate, not with your fork, on your grocery list. Focus on real, whole foods. Think one-ingredient items: eggs, chicken, broccoli, avocados, berries, olive oil. If it has a barcode, a cartoon character, or makes a health claim, think twice. Real food doesn't need to convince you it's healthy. And if you smoke, today is the day. Smoking damages the lining of your arteries, increases blood pressure, reduces oxygen, and literally thickens your blood. Combine that with stress and poor diet, it's a heart attack waiting to happen. Quitting isn't easy, but every single hour you don't smoke is a victory for your heart. Hydration. Don't overlook it. Dehydration thickens your blood, making it harder for your heart to pump. Aim for water as your main drink. Add a pinch of salt or a splash of lemon if you're sweating a lot or exercising. Don't wait to feel thirsty. That means you're already behind. And finally, I want to leave you with this. The biggest danger isn't the signs you see. It's the ones you ignore. Heart disease is still the #1 killer of men in the United States. Not cancer, not accidents, heart disease. But what makes that fact so tragic is that it's largely preventable. And you just took the most powerful step by educating yourself. You now know the 9 signs your body could already be giving you: fatigue, shortness of breath, chest discomfort, erectile dysfunction, sleep disturbances, swollen feet, increased infections, gums that bleed, changes in mood. These are not random. They're connected. They're warnings. But you also know the path forward. Real food, movement, sleep, hydration, stress management, testing, awareness, and action. Every small change is a signal to your heart. I'm listening. I care. I'm choosing life. And if you're feeling empowered, if this resonated, there's another video on your screen right now that will take you deeper into how your diet affects heart health. Click it. Your heart will thank you.